If there is a referendum next year, second referendum, EU referendum, do you think it's right that EU citizens, 2 million EU citizens in Britain, should get the right to vote, as is the Labour Party's policy?
Well, I think the whole proposal from the Labour Party is bizarre. They want to spend another 3 months negotiating some new deal. They won't explain what it is. We can't find a single member of the shadow cabinet who would support this new deal that Mr. Corbyn wants to do. I don't understand what he actually intends by this negotiation. You then have 6 months or a year for another referendum campaign on this weird deal that he wants to do. And I think people will be outraged by the whole thing. And I think that to think that it is going to be rigged in some way by getting in millions more voters who would be very likely to vote one way rather than another, I think that would cause a great deal of public disquiet, and I don't think it's the right way forward. Look, folks, I think this is an absolutely amazing country. It's an incredible privilege for me to be Prime Minister of this country. It's a quite extraordinary place to live, a place to be. And I think we have fantastic future ahead of us. Look at where we already lead. We have the greatest academic sector in the world, greatest universities. 1 in 7 of the world's kings, queens, presidents, prime ministers was educated in this country. Can you believe that? 1 in 7. Actually, including the Japanese emperor. We have a monopoly of the world's emperors. And absolutely true. We have more #1 pop music hits than any other country in the world. We do. That's why it's called. We were the only country to export music to North America. Do you know that? Only country to the United States. That's why it's called One Direction, by the way. We lead. It's not just John Smedley and manufacturing. We've got an incredible manufacturing base. People mock. We are one of the great manufacturing powers in the world. Perhaps the 6th exporter of manufacturing goods, such as are made here. But we also lead in bioscience, in finance, in the arts, in all sorts of fields.
Isn't it?
Well, and also there is this question now about turnout. We haven't really talked much about turnout, actually, over the campaign, but that now is coming to the sort of front and centre of people's minds.
Certainly, and the forecast is it's going to be wet and cold tomorrow. The postal votes, of course, have already arrived. The parties, they're not meant to look at it, but they do kind of get a hint. And on both sides, people are telling me that the postal votes that are in are looking pretty grim for Labour in a lot of parts of the country. Of course, postal voters tend to skew to elderly voters and people who vote, I was going to say vote early and often. Obviously not. But the kind of younger generation who we know skew much more to the Labour Party, you might expect to turn out to the polls tomorrow. But in this winter election, turnout is just another one of these factors that we just can't predict.